Droopy's Bogart, electric pace, still out in front, he's out very wide, but it's Droopy's Bogart who has trounced them to win the Sky Bet Gimcrack final here at Hall Green.
Droopy's Bogart's impressive victory in the Sky Bet Gimcrack at Hall Green last month landed a long overdue Category 1 success for husband and wife team Liz and RAB McNAIR. The Scottish couple upped sticks some 5 years ago for pastures new, becoming effectively private trainers for Brendan Keogh. Brendan owns a kennel complex, land and facilities just outside Ashford in Kent, where RAB and Liz look after and train a select team of open racers for Brendan and Simon Sennick. The kennel boasts a 400-yard gallop and all the other associated facilities, plus the wide open spaces, to help the continued success of the operation. But it's been a long road to get here, as RAB explains.
I started in the flaps up in Scotland. My dad was always in the flaps. He was the old Gosson track, Kilmarnock, Irvine Stadium, all day tracks. I just followed him about and got to know it inside out, and I suppose it got in my veins. I suppose it's like a drug. Once you're into it, you can't get out of it.
The first time I was at greyhound racing was just before we got married. It's just a flapping track, and by all means, I didn't know it after it, but if the dog hadn't won, we wouldn't have got married because all the money was on, and that's how I got into it. So it was just a case of after that, after I got married, if I didn't go to the dogs, I didn't get out, so I started going to dogs, and that's how I got into it.
Ah, well, sure enough, he won. So we got married, we had a nice wedding, and everything's been, well, as I say, it's been history since December, 30 years on, and well, we're stronger than ever, and just keep going, and we're still into the dogs, so it wasn't a bad thing, was it?
So 30 years of experience, and you're now really enjoying the best times of your training lives? Yes,
this is the good times, all the hard times as before, but now it's not as much pressure on us. We had to win at one time, but now it's just more or less for fun we're doing it.
30 years in greyhound racing brings with it a tried and tested formula. It helped the McNairs strike with Full Cigar in the 2002 Laurels at Bellevue, and while last Thursday's defeat for Droopy's Bogart at Sunderland was a huge disappointment, his Gimcrack win plus the successes of dogs such as Full Cigar, Crock of Gold and Coolry Fast Trap underline their skill. And a place in the Derby final 2007 for Coolry Fast Trap is cherished and fondly remembered by Liz, well, almost.
I can't remember much. It was in a real big high. Enjoyed the Derby lunch. It was really great. Just being involved was great, and like the old dog. Well, we knew the way he was at the boxes, something would have to happen for him to win it, but it didn't matter. We were there. It didn't really even think about winning. It was just we were there, and that's it.
And he was a dog that wasn't really even bought with a Derby in mind, was he?
No, not really. He was bought and we thought, oh, he's maybe not going to make it, and we were going to put him hurdling. And Barry O'Sullivan had no room for him, so we took him to Rye House and then won the Rye House Derby, and everything went for there.
Fantastic old dog. By God, he was a fantastic, what a character. Loved him, he loved me, he loved Liz. It's the same thing as I go back to Clive. We've got 10 racers there, but I know every one of them inside out. They know me inside out, they know what they're expecting, they know what I expect them to do, and we have a bit of fun time, but we also have a serious time with the racing.
Some might say that it's all very well, you're effectively a kept man here. You've got an owner that will pay hundreds of thousands of pounds for his dogs, and you just have to put a lead on the good one.
No, that's not true, that's not true. Coolry Fast Trap was only £6,000, Cabra Boss was £6,500. I mean, let's face it, there's boys out there paying £60,000. So that's, I don't care what they all say, it's a lot of that not true. I mean, you see, we're doing a big breeding project. Brendan's no a fiat man to put his hand in his pocket, but let's not be kidded. We're not chasing the £100,000 dogs and all the rest of it. But that's not our style. Let's buy some nice young dogs and let's produce them. I think that's more the way we go about it.
The McNairs aspire to and hugely respect the achievements of the Derby King Charlie Lister, who came from similar flapping roots. And their breeding programme could see them now try and emulate the success of another legend of the sport, Nick Savva, the king of the British breeders.
If I've got to that position in our lives that Nicky Savva was in, that he was actually breeding his own pups to come through and win derbies, I would feel as if I've accomplished as much as I possibly could. I think that would be the time. I'm not going to say to hang up the lead or whatever, because I don't think you ever get to that stage. Look at Nicky, he doesn't need it, but he's there. Look at Charlie, he doesn't need it, but he's there. Why? Because what else do you do?
Now, Liz, your name's on the licence, but it's obviously very much a partnership here between you and RAB. How do you say, is it equally split, the duties?
They're supposed to be, yes. I think, yes, we do work together well. I mean, we do everything. Like, he knows what I'm doing and I know what he's doing, and we just seem to work that way as a team.
So we now know they really do work as a team. Liz cooks a typical Scottish breakfast after a morning's toil in the kennels, and RAB, well, he waits for it. But let's see if they think the same way also.
Full Cigar winning the Laurels. Full Cigar winning the Laurels, because that was the first big one. I actually nearly fainted when he did do it. I thought I was having a heart attack when he went over the line, but that was my proudest moment.
English Derby, final, Calder Fast Trap. I've got to say that, although I didn't win it, but I've also got to say Full Cigar when he won the English Laurels and still a pup. Fantastic night. I thought I was going to faint.
My worst night at the Dogs was probably Thursday night. That was my worst night at the Dogs.
Although Sunderland on Thursday night was pretty bad, David Hood, you got a few quid. It's only a Lenny.
Yeah, work's all right. I mean, I'm quite a passive person that I've got to be. I don't get word in edgeways, but it works all right. I would say we're just used to one another.
Wouldn't work with anybody else. I know sometimes it can be difficult working with wives, but I'm as well arguing with her at times as arguing with strangers, so we know where we each now stand. I know she's the boss. Don't worry about that.
Loud. Likes to get his own way. A typical man.
So in a couple of words, describe yourself.
Happy? Very happy.
And Liz?
More than happy. I mean, just think about it. We're married 30 years. She's been on honeymoon ever since.